And welcome back to another exciting week of NASCAR and racing in the draft. My name is Mark, and we had quite an interesting finish to the dirt race in Bristol, if you happened to catch it last week. And this week probably will be even more exciting at Talladega. But let's take a look at Kyle Busch's surprise win on the dirt in Bristol. Running third, about 3 or 4 seconds behind the top two spots. Chase Briscoe decided he was going to charge into turn 3 as hard as he possibly could to see if it would stick, and end up taking himself and Tyler Reddick out of the race. Well, not out of the race. Tyler Reddick ended up pretty much doing a 360, spinning it around and almost beating Kyle Busch back to the line, but not quite. You know, for Kyle Busch, who complained and whined about dirt and how it's throwing the series backwards and this, that, and we shouldn't be racing on dirt, and he goes out and backs his way into a win. You know, don't forget, too long ago he said all Alex Bowman would do is back into a win. Well, you got your back into a win there, Mr. Busch. Congratulations. And with that win, Kyle Busch ends up getting his 18th consecutive win in the Cup Series, tying Richard Petty for that all-time great stat. So we'll see if next year Kyle can get one more win and put himself atop the king. But either way, let's take a look at the results from the optimal lineup from Bristol Dirt Race. Ended up being 250 laps. We had 2 dominators, which I thought would probably be the case. One of them being a surprise dominator, kind of. 3 place differential drivers, with Ryan Blaney coming from 25th, and Daniel Suarez coming from 21st, Kyle Busch coming from 11th. And yeah, that's about all for the place differentials. 2 value guys, so guys that are under 7,500, Michael McDowell and Ty Dillon, and 3 guys that finished in the top 5, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, and Tyler Reddick. If you had put the optimal lineup in, which I did not see when I was going through and looking at all of the best lineups on DraftKings, at least in the groups that I was in, you would have had $1,500 left over. And with that being said, we had the optimal lineup challenge now updated. Ross Chastain still holds the top spot with 5 optimal lineups made this year, and William Byron and Daniel Suarez now tied for second with 4. Eric Almirola, Eric Jones, Chase Elliott, all right there in the hunt with 3. Boy, what a switch this year has been. Kyle Larson still only with 1. Now, Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain were both in the optimal lineup challenge and vying for that top spot for quite a while, until Kyle Larson just went on a tear in the playoffs. But either way, optimal lineup after 9 races. Good job, Ross Chastain. Can he hold on? Will William Byron or Daniel Suarez catch up this week at Talladega? And boy, last year's spring winner really probably wants to have a solid weekend this weekend, Brad Keselowski. He is probably the best performer in the Cup Series at Talladega. Not best in history, but the best currently driving. I think his total wins is 6, if I remember correctly, but we'll cover that here in just a few minutes. But either way, being hit with all those points and money and everything else from the modifications they did to his car earlier this year, he is still really far in a hole, and probably the only way he makes the playoffs is to get himself a win. So, with that being said, let's look at Talladega in the Geico 500. This is a super speedway. Track length is the longest oval that we go to, 2.66 miles, 33 degrees in the turns. Super banked, super fast, hammer down, don't let up. Race length is 188 laps. Dominator points 131.6, and don't need to worry about Dominator points this week. You'll see why once we look at the optimal lineups from the last few years. But either way, laps led from the dominator points equals 47 points, and fast laps equals 84.6. And that will, everybody in the field will probably end up having a fast lap, because it all depends on where you are in the draft and how, if you're catching up or drafting up to people, so which happens all the time. But Talladega, it's big, it's fast, it's crazy. Now, for our track comparisons, we typically only look at Daytona, but now that Atlanta has been repaved and the banking has changed, Atlanta runs like a smaller super speedway. Close pack racing, one incident could take out half the field. Guys from the back typically are the guys that we look at taking. So with that being said, Atlanta now gets put into the mix. Now we only have one race to compare it to, but out of our 10 total races, we looked at all 3 of those tracks. So the real reason you came is let's start breaking our drivers down. A quick synopsis: if this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button if you could also, that'd be great. But let's look at how I break this down. So up at the top is Ryan Blaney. He is the most expensive on DraftKings at $10,500. Over here to the far left, the number 1 is the power ranking that, after crunching all the data, looking at the 10 last races at super speedways, the last 5 races here at Talladega, the current trends for this year, and all those things, spit all of that information out, and Ryan Blaney is our number 1 pick. With that being said, Talladega is a complete crapshoot. Put all the drivers into a big hat, draw a name out, your chance of winning is just as good as anybody else's. But either way, so then we look at this first part of stats here. We've got, so in the last 5 races at Talladega, Ryan Blaney does have 2 wins, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, 4 top 20s. His average DraftKings for the last 5 races at Talladega is a 39.9, and his average finishing spot over the last 5 events at Talladega is 10.2. Then we come here to this yellow piece here, and his last finishing spot was 15th, and that was the fall race of 2021, or last year. Then we look at his total stats at Talladega. He's raced at Talladega 14 total times, does have those 2 wins to his entire resume at Talladega, and for those 14 starts, he has 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s, and 10 top 20s. So I'm going to cruise through everybody else, but I'd just like to give a quick breakdown on that for anybody that's new watching the channel. Alright, so let's start breaking these drivers down a little bit quicker now that you know what you're looking at. Joey Logano, 10,300 on DraftKings, 6th on the power ranking, and in the last 5 starts at Talladega, does not have a win, but does have 1 top 5, 1 top 10, 3 top 20s, an 18.5 DraftKings average, and a 19.2 average finish. He did finish this race in 3rd in the fall, and his total starts here are 26, where he has 3 wins, 9 top 5s, 11 top 10s, and 15 top 20s. Not bad stats for Mr. Logano. Kyle Larson, 10,100. 26th on the power ranking. Yes, our reigning NASCAR Cup champion is 26th in the power ranking. And you go, why? Well, if we start to look at his stats in the last 3 races, because remember he had a suspension in 2020 where he did not race here at all. So 2021 and the fall race of 2019, he has an average finish of 38.7. Yes, he got wrecked in every race. Talladega is not kind, Kyle Larson. Maybe this year things can change. But negative 26 is his DraftKings average. He finished 37th here in the fall race last year. 14 total starts. It doesn't get any better for him. No top 5s, only 2 top 10s, and only 6 top 20s. Whew. Kyle Larson, you struggle here at Talladega. It is not your cup of tea, that's for sure. Not saying he won't have a good weekend this weekend, but stats typically don't lie, and he struggles here. Chase Elliott, 9,900. His teammate, Chase Elliott, does a little bit better. 2nd on the power ranking. Does not have a win in the last 5. and only one top 10 and two top 20s. And you're wondering, why is Chase Elliott second on the power ranking? Well, a lot of it has to do also with, remember we compared Daytona, Atlanta, and Talladega. There are some point values that are in there. And we also look at the last trend of the last 10 races. Remember, this is a brand new car. So guys are still getting used to this. Well, our current rating, our current champion, our current points leader is Chase Elliott. So he's been very, very consistent, which is helping boost his power ranking here for this track also. He's not a bad super speedway racer. Not as good at Talladega. And I think some of it, after looking at kind of what happens, is these teammates all lock up together. So if one teammate has an issue or problem, the rest of the teammates end up usually having an issue or problem, because once you wreck, typically everybody that's around you gets wrecked too. So, you know, if all the Hendrick guys are running together and one has an issue, or even somebody right in front of them has an issue, it takes out a lot of the Hendrick cars. But either way, Chase Elliott, 10.0 DraftKings average, 22nd place average finish, finished 18th, 12 total races here at Talladega. He does have one win, 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s, and 7 top 20s. Alright, next in line here we've got Tyler Reddick. Oh, Tyler, man, what a rough, tough break for Tyler last weekend at Bristol, getting taken out in the lead spot, going to turn 3 and 4, and not getting your first Cup victory. But in the last 5 races, he does have 2 top 10s, 3 top 20s, a 29.8 DraftKings average, and an 18.3 average finish. He did finish 39th here in the fall race last year, and has 4 total starts with those same stats. 2 top 10s, 3 top 20s. Alright, next in line here, we've got William Byron, 9,600, third on the power ranking. And in the last 5 starts here at Talladega, does not have a win, but does have 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, and 3 top 20s, a 23.0 DraftKings average, 17.2 average finish. He did finish 36th last fall at Talladega. 8 total starts with 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, and 4 top 20s. Don't forget, I will be going live on Sunday morning, probably. My son does have a baseball tournament. We don't know the time of his games yet, but sometime Sunday I will be going live and discussing post-qualifying and post-practice, even though practice really doesn't mean a whole lot here at Talladega, because most of the guys will go run a lap or two to make sure that their car doesn't have any weird things that need to be fixed. But other than that, usually the car is set up and ready to go, ready for race trim. So more likely, not a whole lot of stats coming out of practice. I doubt anybody has a 10 lap average, because I'm not sure you can make the 10 laps in the short amount of time that they have practice. But either way, Sunday I will go live at some point. I can't give any firm time. Probably sometime, if everything works out, I'll go live about 11 o'clock. And check me out then. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified when I do go live or post videos. I also do some iRacing on Tuesday or Wednesday and Thursday nights that you can catch here on this channel also. Next to here, Kyle Busch, 9,400. Backed himself into a win last week. Good job, Kyle. 11th on the power ranking now for this week. Does not have a win in the last 5 starts here at Talladega. Only 2 top 20s, no top 10s. 4.8 DraftKings average, a 24.6 average finish. Finished 27th here in the fall race last year. 33 total starts here at Talladega with 1 win, 6 top 5s, 8 top 10s, and 16 top 20s. Starting to see a trend here. Most of these top burning guys don't finish well. So do not worry about salary cap this week. You can fit pretty much anybody you want in. You're going to take some guys that are going to start towards the rear. Alex Bowman, 9,200, 15th on the power ranking. Yep, look at these stats again. Finished 38th in the fall race last year. Has a 4.3 negative DraftKings average over the last 5 starts. 1 top 10, 2 top 20s, 26.8 average finish. In his 13 total starts here at Talladega, only has 1 top 5, 3 top 10s, and 5 top 20s. All right, next in line here, we've got Denny Hamlin, 9,100. And man, is Denny just having a miserable year, along with most all of the other Joe Gibbs drivers, except for Kyle Busch. He seemed to have a pretty decent year, not a Kyle Busch-esque year, but still much better than his teammates, that is for sure. But Denny Hamlin, great super speedway racer, but man, I don't know if I want to even have a little bit of Denny Hamlin. I will, because he is a great super speedway racer, and at some point this year, Denny Hamlin's luck is going to end up turning around. I mean, he does have a win. It did come from Richmond. But in my opinion, he kind of backed into that win with, I wouldn't say back into it, he lucked into it, or his crew chief did a great job and got him that win. But another couple laps and Harvick would have eaten his lunch. Either way, Denny Hamlin's struggling this year. I'll have a little bit of ownership, but not much, unless he just absolutely is starting 36th on the field, dead last, and I know that I'm going to get place differentials points from him. But either way, 9th on the power ranking. Then he does have one win here at Talladega in the last 5 races, 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s, 4 top 20s, a 40.5 DraftKings average, and a 9.4 average finish. He finished 7th here in the fall race last year. 32 total starts with 2 wins, 9 top 5s, 14 top 10s, and 18 top 20s. Next in line here, Brad Keselowski, last spring's winner here at Talladega, and the current driver with the most wins. Brad Keselowski was 6th. I was right. But 8,900, 1 win in the last 5, which was that spring race from last year. 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, 4 top 20s, a 29.9 DraftKings average, 13th place average finish. Finished 2nd the fall race here last year also. Yeah, Brad loves Talladega. 26 total starts, 6 wins, 9 top 5s, 13 top 10s, and 17 top 20s. Next in line, Chase Briscoe, 8,800. 2 total starts here at Talladega with 2 top 20s, no top 10s, 41.6 DraftKings average, and a 12.5 average finish. He finished 14th here in the fall race last year, and we already said started here twice with 2 top 20s. Kevin Harvick, 8,600, 10th on the power ranking. In the last 5 races here, he has 1 top 5, 3 top 10s, 5 top 20s, 33.4 DraftKings average, 11.8 average finished 8th here in the fall race last year, 42 total starts here at Talladega with 1 win, 8 top 5s, 18 top 10s, and 29 top 20s. Next in line here, we've got Christopher Bell, 8,400, 21st on the power ranking, and in the last 4 starts here at Talladega, he has 1 top 5, 1 top 10, 2 top 20s, 18.4 DraftKings average, and a 20.5 average finish. He finished 5th here in the fall race last year, and we already know that he started 4 times here. Next in line here, the final Joe Gibbs Racing entry, Martin Truex Jr., 8,300, and in the last 5 starts here at Talladega, only 1 top 20, 7.1 DraftKings average, and a 23.0 average finish. Martin Truex Jr. has about as much luck as Kyle Larson at super speedways. He's about awful. I'm not gonna say he's awful. He just has the unfortunate luck of never being able to finish fairly well at these tracks. 34 total starts. So he finished 12th here in the fall race last year, but 34 total starts to his career here at Talladega. Only 2 top 5s, 8 top 10s, and 15 top 20s. So more than half the time, he finishes outside the top 20. Bubba Wallace, 8,100, our fall winner from Talladega, and his first Cup victory also. Bubba Wallace has 1 top 5, 1 top 10, 3 top 20s, a 38.9 DraftKings average, and a 16.4 average finish. Already said he finished first here in the fall race last year. 8 total starts with 1 top 5, 1 top 10, 5 top 20s. Super Speedways, are kind of a niche for Bubba Wallace. He races fairly well in the draft and typically runs fairly well at super speedways. So, depending on where Bubba Wallace is starting, may have a decent amount of ownership on him. But he is a good super speedway racer. Austin Cindric, 7,700, is also a good super speedway racer. He's our Daytona 500 winner. He also runs. We don't have any stats on him here in the Cup car, but Austin Cindric did very, very well in the Xfinity Series at both super speedways. So keep Austin Cindric as a possibility. 19th on the power ranking, mostly because we just don't have a whole lot of stats on Austin, but 7,700. We'll see how he does in practice and qualifying. If he qualifies too far up front, probably not going to touch him. Once you see the optimal lineups, doubt anybody touches anybody in the top 10. Next in line, though, Ross Chastain, 7,700, 7th on our power ranking. And in the last 5 starts here, he has 2 top 20s, top 10s. 29.3 DraftKings average, 20.3 average finish. Finished 33rd here in the fall race last year. And out of his 6 total starts, only 2 top 20s. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 7,600. Another pretty good super speedway racer. 23rd on the power ranking. And in the last 5 starts here, he's got 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 3 top 20s. A 25.6 DraftKings average and a 19.6 average finish. He finished 16th here in the fall race last year. 17 total starts here at Talladega. He does have 1 victory, 6 top 5s, 9 top 10s, and 12 top 20s. Pretty consistent. So Ricky Stenhouse Jr., somebody to keep an eye out on. Eric Almirola, 7,500, 13th on the power ranking. In the last 5 starts here at Talladega, he does have 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, 3 top 20s, a 24.6 DraftKings average, and a 17th place average finish. Eric finished 26th here in the fall race last year, and 24 total starts for Eric, which he does have 1 victory, 5 top 5s, 9 top 10s, and 17 top 20s. Next in line here, Kurt Busch, 7,400. Somebody else that likes and does fairly well at speedways. Kurt is 16th on the power ranking this week. 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 2 top 20s, a 14.4 DraftKings average, and a 21.6 average finish. He finished 4th here in the fall race last year. 42 total starts, tied with Kevin Harvick for the most starts at Talladega that are currently running. No wins in those 42, but does have 9 top 5s, 22 top 10s, and 28 20s. Austin Dillon, 7,200, who is having quite a good year to start the year. He kind of ran into a little trouble on the dirt last week, but he also runs fairly well at super speedways. Not as much here at Talladega as he does Daytona, but either way, in the last 5 starts here, he has no top 5s, 2 top 10s, 4 top 20s, a 29.6 DraftKings average, and a 15.2 average finish. That's pretty solid. Finished 11th here in the fall race last year. 17 total starts with only 1 top 5, 4 top 10s, and 11 top 20s. Daniel Suarez, $7,000. 25th on the power ranking. No top 5s in the last 5 starts. Here at Talladega, a 12.3 DraftKings average and a 28th place average finish. Finished 23rd here in the fall race last year. 10 total starts here at Talladega, with no top 5s, only 1 top 10, and 5 top 20s. Chris Buescher, 6,900, 18th on the power ranking. The last 5 starts at Talladega, he has 3 top 10s, 4 top 20s, a 43.3 DraftKings average, and an 11.8 average finish. That's pretty solid. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on his qualifying results. Finished 6th here in the fall race last year, 13 total starts, 3 top 5s, 7 top 20s. Keep an eye on Chris Buescher. Michael McDowell next in line, our 2021 Daytona 500 winner. And Michael runs very, very well at all the super speedways. 6,800 and 22nd on the power ranking. And in the last 5 starts here at Talladega, 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, 4 top 20s, 38.0 DraftKings average, 15.8 finish. Finished 17th here in the fall race last year. 22 total starts to his resume here at Talladega, with 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, and 6 top 20s. Eric Jones, 6,600, 14th on the power ranking, and in the last 5 starts here at Talladega, 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, 3 top 10s, and 3 top 20s, a 33.8 DraftKings average, 15.4 average finish. Finished 9th here in the fall race last year here at Talladega. 10 total starts with 2 top 5s, 4 top 10s, 5 top 20s. Harrison Burton, 6,500. Not a whole lot of stats for Harrison. He has started here once. 33rd in the power ranking, but this is kind of where I start to really kind of focus in and look at who potentially is going to be the guys that end up running up front at the end of the race this weekend. He only has one start where he finished 20th. He also was running in the top 3 when he got taken out at Daytona. So keep that in your thinking cap. If he had not been taken out, that was no fault of his own. Brad Keselowski decided to pretty much heave-ho him into the corner and took out half the field in doing so. But Harrison Burton and the Wood brothers always bring fast cars to super speedways. So we'll keep an eye on Harrison and see where he qualifies. Make sure you check back with me Sunday for my live breakdown of qualifying. Daniel Hemrick, 6,300, 29th on the power ranking. Daniel Hemrick is the reigning NASCAR Xfinity champion, running for Colleague this year in most of the super speedways. Daniel does have one start in the Cup Series here at Talladega, 29.3 DraftKings average, 21st average finish. That's wrong. Whoop. Whoop. All right, next in line here, we've got Daniel Hemrick, last year's Xfinity champion, 6,300. And in the last 5 starts at Talladega, or the last 5 races at Talladega, he's only raced once, has a 29.3 DraftKings average and a 21st place average finish. He has started here a total of 2 times, though, and did end up with a top 5 finish. So out of his 2 starts, he does have a top 5, top 10, and top 20 total finishes. I don't remember exactly where he finished, but either way, Daniel Hemrick, see where he qualifies. David Gilliland, 6,200, 34th on the power ranking, mostly because we don't have any stats for Todd at 2 speedways, or at least Talladega. We do have Atlanta and Daytona from this year. But either way, Todd Gilliland potentially could end up being somebody to take a look at, but we really won't know until we look and where he qualifies. Check back with me on Sunday for that. Ty Dillon, 6,100, and out of the last 5 races here at Talladega, he has started 3 of them with 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 3 top 20s, a 57.0 DraftKings average, and an 8.3 average finish. Ooh, gotta like me some Ty Dillon, especially if he happens to qualify towards the back. Great super speedway racer. So keep an eye on Ty, see where he qualifies and what his practice speeds might look like. 8 total starts here at Talladega, 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 8 top 20s. David Reagan, 5,900, 24th on the power ranking. Now he's only started once in the last 5 races here at Talladega and did finish 29th, but David does have 26 total starts to his career here at Talladega in the Cup Series. He does have a very coveted win here at Talladega, 4 top 5s, 10 top 10s, 13 top 20s. So keep an eye out for David Reagan this weekend. Justin Haley, 5,800. Talking about somebody else who's just a really good super speedway racer, it's Justin Haley. Definitely keep an eye on Justin. He's won twice at Daytona in the Xfinity Series, once in Cup Car at Daytona. Speedways, I understand, but super speedways pretty much run very, very similar. It's just, can you feel the draft, understand the draft, and understand when not to be in the draft and get your butt out of there before you end up getting caught up in the big one. Justin Haley's one of those that seems to have that figured out fairly well. But either way, out of the last 3 starts here at Talladega, he does have 2 top 20s, 39.2 DraftKings average and a 20.3 average finish. He finished 20th here in the fall race last year. 4 total starts with 2 top 20s. Cole Custer, 5,600, 31st in the power ranking, and in the last 5, well, only 4 starts total for Cole Custer. He has 1 top 10, 2 top 20s at 31.1 DraftKings average, 19.0 average finish. He finished 13th here in the fall race. Noah Gragson, 5,400, no stats. This is his kind of first semi run in the Cup Series this year, so no stats for Noah. Noah's one of those that could be a great payoff depending on where he qualifies. So keep an eye out on that and check back with me on Sunday. Corey LaJoie, 5,200. Another decent little super speedway racer. Corey is 30th on the power ranking, but in the last 5 races here at Talladega, 1 top 10, 2 top 20s, 34.9 DraftKings average, and a 19th place average finish. He finished 22nd here in the fall race last year. 8 total starts here at Talladega with 1 top 10, 3 top 20s. JJ Yaley, $5,000, 36th on the power ranking. I mean, any of these guys are going to be people that 1 or 2 of them will probably make the optimal lineup. We could, like I showed earlier this year, if we'd taken the 6 worst starting drivers at Atlanta, they would have finished in the money and fairly profitable. The $15 entry would have ended up netting you $50 on the most expensive prize pod over on DraftKings. But either way, JJ Yaley, 2 starts, 15.2 DraftKings average, 31st average place finish, and of his 14 total starts, he has 4 top 20s. Last but not least, Landon Castle. Somebody to really keep an eye on, especially if he qualifies towards the back. Landon Castle understands super speedway racing, and somebody to really keep an eye on. It depends on where he qualifies, though. So if he qualifies top 10, I'm not going to touch him. But if he qualifies 28th to 35th, 36th, heck yeah, all day long. By the way, make sure you tune back in on Sunday when I break all that down. But in the last 2 out of the last 5 races here, Landon has started where he has a top 20, 19th place average finish, 37.6 DraftKings average. He finished 24th here in the fall race last year, and 18 total starts here at Talladega in the Cup Series with 1 top 5, 1 top 10, 5 top 20s. Optimal lineups from last year here at Talladega. Neither one had a dominator. Look at those laps led. 5, 7, 9, 1, 0, 13. I mean, the best is the spring race where Matt DiBenedetto led 28. 28 out of 191 does not make you a dominator. So dominators are absolutely a crapshoot and won't mean a hill of beans. We are looking for place differentials, place differentials, place differentials. As you can see, the fall race had 5 of the 6 were place differentials. Same thing in the spring race. And I'm telling you, you don't need to spend all your money. Look at that, $5,900, $3,000 left over on both of these two. Then in 2020, same thing, $8,700 left over, $5,000 left over. No dominators. The only one-ish dominator was the spring race of 2020, where Ryan Blaney led 63 of 191. I mean, that's still not dominant, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of dominant coming from a super speedway, but I mean, still had 11 place differential points too. That was a monster day for him. By the way, once again, don't spend all your money. Find the guys in the back. Also, if you start looking at this, look right through here. Starting positions. Nobody started in the top 10. Up here, nobody started in the top 10. In fact, nobody started in the top 15. only 2 people here, 12th and 15th. Then we come up here, Brad Keselowski, the only driver in the fall race, made it to the optimal lineup, starting in the top 10. One here, Brad K again, starting 10th. So you could almost just not take anybody in the top 10. Almost nobody in the top 15. If you look here, it's a 13, a 10, 7, and a 15, and 12. But yeah, I mean, look at all these guys starting mid-pack or back of the pack. I'm telling you, we'll break down more of that when we break down on Sunday the qualifying positions and who I think are probably the best chances of making their way up front. It's such a crapshoot. All it takes is the one big one. Check back with me Sunday, somewhere in the morning. I'll try to put up a notice on and kind of give a shout out through YouTube on when I'm hoping to go live. But we'll break down not who's going to be a dominator, but who are the best potential place differentials and best finishing potentials. So make sure you come back, check with me on Sunday morning, and we will break that down and get your DraftKings ready to go for that afternoon. It's going to be a crazy weekend. Talladega is always crazy. It's always fun. It's going to be warm. Little to no chance of weather this weekend. Make sure you check back with me on Sunday where we break everything down and see if maybe Brad K can get himself a win and get himself potentially locked into the playoffs. But either way, from now until Sunday, have a great weekend. Enjoy the Xfinity race. It's going to be crazy fun. And I think tonight or tomorrow is the ARCA race. That's always kind of interesting too. So have a great weekend. See you on Sunday. Bye.
Brad, get ready to roll here. Only about one thing tonight, getting the W, so gotta be around at the end to do that. Get ready to roll tonight, boys. Let's go have some fun.
Don't get me any more fired up than I already am.
All the way to the checkered. You're fine. Nobody's gotta run. Checker time, baby!
Hell yeah!
Rowdy there, Matt. Good job, pal. Thanks, man. Good job all day.
Great work, my man. Great work.
Keep putting yourself in position. We'll win our share, right? We got one back today, brother. Good job.
Great job, guys.
Excellent work, my man. Excellent work. Thank you.
Man, that's awesome. Set out with a goal, we got it here, bud. Thank you very much.
Really proud of you, man. Drove your butt off tonight. We had the fastest car here, bud.
Probably killed our deal there. Just feel like I gave one away.
Yeah, boy. Way to rebound. Great job. Great job, bud. Really good job. Appreciate you hanging in there with us all weekend.
What a weekend. Good job. Thank you.